Hi y'all, this is a video for assignment 16. So congrats on being here, excited to have you. So I'm gonna walk you through this assignment and show you how to do number one, and then I think you'll be really set to complete the rest of the assignment. So this is an assignment that puts together all the things that we've learned so far. So it says Gabe, Clarita, Naya, and Tahani are all discussing their favorite methods for solving quadratic equations when in standard form, ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Each student thinks a different strategy is better. Gabe says, I like to graph the equation and find where the line crosses the x-axis using my calculator, right? So he likes to graph. Clarita says, I like to write the equation in factored form and then use the factors to find the solutions. So Clarita likes to write it in the parenthesis factored form. And Naya says, I like to use the quadratic formula to find the solutions. So she likes to use our fancy formula we learned last week. So it says demonstrate how each friend might solve each of the following equations. So we're going to use those three characters, Gabe, Clarita, and Naya, to solve the same equation in three different ways. So part one says solve each problem using three different methods, i.e., solve the same problem three times. Each method should give you the same answers. If you get different answers, you should go back and check your work. So we're going to solve this problem here, x squared minus 2x minus 15 equals 0. We're going to solve it in three separate methods. So first we're going to solve it with graphing. So I'm going to go ahead and bring up Desmos. Let me get out of presentation mode here. So I'm going to go ahead and graph this one. It's x squared minus 2x minus 15. Notice I don't want to put the equal 0. That's going to make two straight lines. I don't want it to be, I know that it's equal to 0. I'm going to click the places where it's equal to 0. So zoom out just a little bit, and I'm going to go ahead and click this first solution here, which is -3, and the second solution here, which is 5. So I know that my two solutions are -3 and 5. I'm going to go ahead and screenshot this graph right here and put it right here. For my purposes, I'm just going to go ahead and draw this graph like this, -3 and 5, right? You're actually going to take the screenshot, plug it in. All right, so that's Gabe. We've done Gabe's graphing, right? Next, we're going to do Clarita. She is in charge of factoring, or she would like factoring. So we have x squared minus 2x minus 15 equals 0. Remember, this is the one where we have, okay, this is my multiply number and this is my add number. So I need two numbers that multiply to get -15 and add to get -2. So I'm thinking 15 is 1 and 15. That's not going to make 2. 2 and nothing. 3 and 5. Oh, 3 and 5. That could make 2. So 3 and 5. And since I wanted to add to -2, I need it to be -5 right here. So I'm going to go ahead and factor it. I'm going to get x plus 3 and x minus 5. Right? That equals 0. Remember, in order for it to be equal to 0, either this has to be 0 or that has to be 0. So I'm going to say, okay, either x plus 3 is 0 or x minus 5 equals 0. I'm going to subtract 3 on both sides. X equals -3. Add 5 on both sides. X equals +5. And I can see that these two examples here are going to be exactly the same numbers as what I got from the graphing portion here, which is perfect. That's exactly what I need. It's the same equation, so I needed to have the same answers. All right. Finally, I'm going to go to Naya's quadratic formula. So their way of solving it is the quadratic formula. I'm going to go ahead and remember quadratic formula x is equal to -b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Woohoo! Cool, so I need to remember a, b, and c from this. So remember, I'll write it down again here, x squared minus 3x minus 15, minus 2x. Yep, minus 15. All right, so I have a is 1, B is -2, C is -15. So A equals 1, B equals -2, C equals -15. So I'm going to go ahead and substitute it into my equation here. So I have x equals -b, b is -2. Notice how I put parentheses around it, plus or minus the square root of -2 squared minus 4 times a, which is 1, times c, which is -15, all over 2 times a, which is 1. I'm going to go ahead and simplify each of my zones separately. So -2 would make +2, plus or minus the square root of something, all over my other zone down here would be 2 times 1 is 2. I'm going to go ahead and solve this over here. So I have -2 squared would be +4, minus 4 times 1 times -15. Ooh, really squishing that in there. Let's go ahead and move that over. So I have -15. I know -4 times 1 is -4 times -15. -4 times -15 would be +60, and I'm bringing down that 4 from before. So 60 and 4 make 64. Remember, you can put it in decimals, so you could just do -2 squared minus 4 times 1 times -15, and you'll see that same 64. So you can do it by hand if you want, or you can put it in your calculator like this. So 64 is what's going to go in there, right? So 64, like that. All right, so I have 2 plus or minus the square root of 64, I know is 8, because 8 times 8 is 64. 8 over 2. So I have two, should have two solutions here. I'll have 2 plus 8 over 2, and I will have 2 minus 8 over 2. So for my pink solution, this would be 10 over 2, which is 5. And for my green solution, this would be -6 over 2, which is -3. So we have 5 and -3, which you'll notice is the exact same answers as what we have here. So we have 3 separate ways that we can solve the exact same equations. Okay. This is what you guys are going to be working on today. So you all will, number 1, we've already done together. Number 2, you're going to follow the exact same things. Go ahead and do it in 3 separate ways. Number 3, you're going to do it in the exact same ways. If you have a harder time with this 2 here, don't forget to check out part 3 of assignment number 12. That will be an example of how to do these types of problems. First, and that will be just for the factoring portion. Quadratic formula, exactly the same. Graphing, exactly the same. We don't have to do anything fancy. And then part 4, same thing, graphing just the same, quadratic formula just the same. If you're factoring, you're going to want to take a GCF out first, right? So don't forget that GCF. A picture of your work is going to go here. That's where I will be looking. If you could label them number 1 and then method 1, like method 1, method 2, method 3, and then number 2, method 1, method 2, method 3. This would be the best case scenario for me in terms of grading them. Thank you so much. And then finally, if you are honors or accelerated, you have just one more piece here. Right, one more piece here. So you can graph this just as normal. In order to do quadratic formula and factoring, you'll have to use the box first. So you're going to multiply the x plus 5 squared first, and then whatever you get out of the box, make sure that you subtract 4 from it, and that will give you your ax squared plus bx plus c. Please let me know if you need any support with part 2. I'm happy to support. And then you're going to put your 1 down here. Okay. That's it for assignment 16. Please let me know if you have any questions, and be sure to work in your teams. Thanks, guys.